What's going on? Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another Apple Home Talk Live. My name is Shane. This is a live stream all about building a DIY smart home. So glad you could be here today. And today I'm excited because we have a very special guest joining us today. Everybody in the chat, make some noise and please help me welcome Mr. Patrick Hunt from the YouTube channel Make Smart Matter. I got it right, didn't I?
You made me want to change the name of my channel early on because you kept stumbling over it. So
Dude, I still do, and I am so sorry. I just butchered it on Instagram, so I apologize. I did a little Instagram story before the stream, and I butchered it again. I don't know why. I have a hard time. It's a me thing. Don't change it. Don't change anything.
I'm changing it now. Let me go into my settings. I gotta change that.
Oh man, so how you doing, Patrick? It's good to see you.
I'm doing great. Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Good. I'm glad you could make it. I appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule to join us here on the live stream. And I'm excited to nerd out a little bit and ask you some smart home questions and chat with everybody. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat real quick, and then we'll kind of get this thing rolling. What's up, Jack's Diner? Wiscedia, good to see you. Larry's in the house. What's up, Larry? Oh, we got Edgar is in the house. What's up, Edgar? Good to see you, man. We'll get my chat bubbles here, right?
Welcome to Make Shane Stumble. I like it.
Yeah, it's every week. That's the beauty of live streams. Everybody can kind of see me fumble over my words on a weekly basis. Let's see, Bill. What's up, Bill? Pamakit from France is here. Good to see you here in the chat today. And we've got Brian. Good to see you, Brian. 60 degrees in Michigan. And Patrick, you're in Maryland, right?
I'm in Virginia.
Virginia. Gosh,
far.
I was so close. Okay.
Go for it.
I was so close. So how's the weather there? I guess it's like back and forth, kind of crazy.
Every day back and forth. Yeah, today is, I don't know, today is all right. But yeah, yesterday was cold. The day before that was pretty warm. So
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going
It's
to
going
talk
to be
about that in an upcoming video.
Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's been pretty consistently warm here. We've officially got pollen all over my back porch and everybody's allergies are going haywire right now. Well, welcome everybody here to the chat. If you're joining us live, thanks so much for being here. If you guys aren't familiar with Patrick already, Patrick's YouTube channel, Make Smart Matter, currently over 7,000 subscribers, 89 videos, looks like, on your YouTube channel. Patrick is also a husband and a father of one and another soon to be. Is that correct?
I am now a father of two. Yeah.
You are a father of two. Oh wow. When did your second one arrive?
On Friday. Yeah.
No kidding. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well,
So
congratulations.
thank you. Yeah. Connor is 2 and Miles is a few days old. And he's actually coming home from the hospital today. So
Oh my gosh. Now
got
I
a
feel
couple.
bad. Like you should not be here today.
No. I put everything on hold to make sure I can make it here. So
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for doing that. I really did not know that. That's amazing. I thought I knew you were expecting any day now. I didn't know the day has come and gone. But wow, that's exciting, man. I'm happy for you. Being a father is the greatest. So I'm going to ask you some questions, I think, too, about smart home tech and how that relates to and how you can use that as a parent, because that's one thing that I always kind of wish is that I would have started or was into smart home tech back when my kids were young. My kids were older by the time I started getting into all this stuff, and I was like, man, there's so many cool things I would have probably been able to do with that.
yeah, that's it's definitely something I've made a bunch of videos on it to the point where I was like, everyone's gonna think that the only room in the house that I set stuff up in is the nursery, but that's like my playground because of all the fun things that I like doing in there, and that I know that Connor appreciates. So but yeah, that's like that nursery is like my playground, and I'm working on the second one right now. So
Oh wow, yeah, that's awesome. Very cool, man. Yeah, and you can see some of Patrick's videos here. And yeah, I watched some of that. I actually did get to do something similar at one point. I guess it was about, gosh, it might have been about, yeah, because it was before she was born. So over 2 years now. Gosh, time really flies by. But I had a friend, good friend, that had a child, and I went in and kind of made their whole nursery smart a couple years ago, and that was kind of fun. I got to do some of the things I never got to do when my kids were babies, so pretty cool stuff.
yeah.
Now I see 89 videos. It looks like on your channel. How when did you start your YouTube channel? And I'm kind of curious what kind of made you want to do YouTube.
So I started it in January of last year. So I'm about a year and a few months now. Um, and I started it, and it seems sad, but I started it because I had a cool project that I did using Homebridge, and I just wanted to like talk about it with everyone. I wanted people to talk about it with. None of my friends really had an interest in it, and it just felt like I figured something out that took me a few weeks to figure out, largely because Homebridge, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get, how well something's going to work. So I tinkered with a bunch of different plugins on Homebridge that weren't working, and then I found one that finally did work, and it was just like amazing when it finally did. And then I like called people, and they were like, "Oh, cool," but they didn't really get it. So I
Yeah,
was like, you're gonna get it. I'm gonna make a video that tells you exactly what I did, and
somebody will appreciate this.
yeah.
That's
So
interesting. That's pretty funny. I can totally relate to that actually, because when I remember when I was, I mean, to this day, still 95% of my friends that I actually hang out with, like locally here in real life, they're not into any of the smart home tech and stuff. So it is so fun to be able to put stuff out there and then, interact with so many people who are into the same stuff. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. That's pretty cool. And I
I
could
think that
tell. Sorry, go ahead.
I think I would have been really discouraged if people didn't start watching my videos and and commenting on them, because that was like the whole point of it.
Really?
Um, so the community aspect of it is probably my favorite thing. It's not the editing. That's
Yeah, I can totally appreciate that. Yeah, that's been one of my favorite things too, for sure, is the community aspect of it. That's very cool. And we got to hang out a little bit at CES this year. That was your first CES. So, how did you enjoy that whole process? Got to meet a lot of other smart home and tech content creators there, I imagine.
Yeah. So I loved CES. That was really cool, and definitely one of the first. I had a small business before this full-time job that I have, where I did some traveling uh, for shooting and everything like that, for filming. But this was kind of the first trip that I decided to go on for like a new thing.
Hmm.
I treat it like a business, so I guess for like a new business. Um, and traveling alone, I don't often travel alone. But you know, being in Vegas, I actually really like Vegas. Not for the not for the crazy reasons, but I think it's a big playground, and I'm a big kid, so um, I really loved it. I loved meeting you guys, and going to the convention floor and seeing all the cool stuff. So yeah, I had a lot of fun at CES.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think this was my fourth year, I believe, and it is always just so much fun. I'm just kind of the opposite. Like, I actually had never been to Vegas my whole life until I went to CES. My first CES was, I just had no desire whatsoever to go to Vegas, and I still have not been to Vegas other than for CES. So I don't know. I should probably do it sometime and just experience it a little bit?
I did a bachelor party there, so
Oh, yeah. Okay.
yeah,
I'm sure that was fun.
it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's pretty awesome because I think it took me. You've only been doing YouTube for like a year, and I'll urge everybody, if you haven't subscribed, if you like watching my videos, you should definitely go subscribe to Patrick's channel. Should be a link down in the description, and I'll put you as a collaborator on this if you want. If anybody's watching this afterwards, definitely go subscribe. But I think I didn't go to CES until I was probably at least a few years in to doing YouTube. It's kind of something I always wanted to do, and I just kind of pulled the trigger like one year, last minute. I think our mutual friend Eric was out there, and he's like, "You should come. You could just stay in my room, and split the cost." I was like, "All right, I'll do it. Let's go." And I never looked back. I've been back every year since then. So
I think it's important, like you spend so much time. I mean, smart home stuff, you're largely staying in your house. So I think it's important to kind of get out and see people in person and build that community. So yeah, I mean, I think it's great.
absolutely, I think that applies probably to most content creators, regardless of the niche you're in. We're just it's kind of it's a weird thing because you're in front of so many people all the time, so you don't think of it being kind of like a lonely sort of thing or isolated thing, but it really is. Like we're just in here by ourselves tinkering all the time and filming videos. So yeah, that was definitely my favorite part about going out to CES, and it still is every year, just getting to talk with other people who actually are into all this nerdy stuff that we're into, for one, and also just making videos and stuff. It's always a lot of fun. So I want to ask you a little bit about Matter and your smart home specifically. So your channel is called Make Smart Matter. Now you pretty much have built a smart home. Are you just using Matter products, or is that your preference? Kind of, can you walk us through a little bit of your whole setup and maybe why you went the route you went?
Yeah. So I think what was appealing to me was the intent behind Matter, and more specifically Matter over Thread devices, because I want something that's supposed to be plug and play. I want something that is like that doesn't require. I want something that doesn't require an additional hub. I've walked that back. I've walked that back quite a bit since
How's
I
that working out?
made that declaration. But I'm just sitting here looking at my hubs. But yeah, so the idea is it shouldn't be any different than having your Wi-Fi router and connecting any other device to a Wi-Fi router. There should just be one other device that is all for my smart home stuff, and I guess the Apple TV for me would be that thing. And so I liked how clean that was, and I don't love having all these manufacturers apps. Um, but it's like once you get deep into it, you realize how important the manufacturers apps are because of how limited something like Apple Home is. Um, you find that the hubs, when something's offline, it's easier to just reboot a hub or something, and that thing usually comes back online. Whereas Matter doesn't have the easiest on off button. So um, that's what I've kind of walked back in that time, and I've gone branched out to different things. But that was why I
Okay.
really wanted Matter to be the main thing, and probably half my house is Matter.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think the concept of Matter and the idea behind it is amazing. I think it's just like any new standard or any new thing. It's just it's going to take time. I think we're getting there, and tell me if you agree. But it seems like I do think there's been some great strides in the past couple of years in regards to Matter. Still not quite there yet, but what do you think about that?
I actually I finally sat down and took the time to make like my Matter video. I hadn't really made one. I just I just like talked about all the peripheral things around Matter, but then I finally was like, maybe I should actually make a video talking about matter. Um, and at one point, as I was thinking about it, it's what's actually confusing about it. Like what makes it so hard to, for mass adoption. And it's something like multi-admin. I think that is a part of it. It's for a lot of people, it's like, why is that even a thing? And it's, for example, if you go back to the comparison of just Wi-Fi devices, I can take my phone to anyone's house and I can connect to their internet, or I can, connect to any internet. So like, but that doesn't really have a name. There's not, I mean, maybe there is, and I just don't know. Like, I'm not as, tech savvy, but there's not really a name for being able to connect your iPhone to different routers. So why is it such a special circumstance for Matter going to different Matter controllers? And so that's something that, like, I mean, I get that it is a thing, and can relatively, explain it to somebody, but I wish it weren't something that needed explaining, and I think
Right.
so part of the big Matter issue is just the marketing of it.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and the, yeah.
I think that's kind of the promise that was sold initially, is that you can buy the device, it has the Matter logo, it works with everything. And it's as simple as that. Obviously, we know now that it's not that simple. But I think the idea is there, and I think that's where we're working towards. And all the folks who are working so hard on the Matter spec, I think that's where they're working towards. And I do hope that eventually we get there. I think there's been so much confusion in the smart home space. Folks like us and probably most of the people here in the chat are pretty tech savvy and are kind of into this stuff as a hobby. But for your everyday consumer, it's very confusing when you're just wanting to buy smart home devices. When you're talking about Amazon's Lady A and Apple Home and what works with what. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel way back when, was just because I wanted to build a smart home. I wanted to do Apple Home. There was very little on that at the time, especially like on YouTube. And I just found myself, even being a fairly tech savvy person, getting into the smart home stuff for the first time. Is like, what is going on? What do I need? Why is this so confusing? And I think that's still the issue. I do look forward to a day where it is just kind of known, where everybody can go to the store, buy something that says Matter, and they just know what that means. I don't think the education to your everyday person is there yet regarding Matter. What do you have you noticed that? Do you think people still don't know what Matter is, like average people, or is there starting to be better understanding these days about that?
I think nobody knows what Matter is.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
um, if I, in passing, mentioned that I have a YouTube channel and it's called Make Smart Matter, it it requires a whole explanation, for most everyone I've ever told. Anyone I have ever told, full stop, requires explanation. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's I think people searching for people who already know what it is are typically who find my channel, unless the video is a Philips Hue video, I guess.
Yeah. Right. Philips Hue. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I think, I don't know, like I said, I'm excited and optimistic about the future of it, but yeah, I've kind of experienced the same thing. Even some of my really tech savvy friends, like I got one friend who's like a really smart network engineer and stuff, and he doesn't really do smart home stuff, and he heard of Matter, but he didn't really know what it meant necessarily. He had heard the term, but it required further explanation, I guess, to your point. So, speaking of that, Lawrence here mentioned in the chat, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about this. He says Matter 1.5, we have one camera. Actually, I think it might be two now, but one camera and one platform that supports it. Everyone else will take a good year or more to adopt it. Thanks, Lawrence, for the comment. And so, yeah, Lawrence is referring to, I assume, the Aqara G
350.
350. Yes, thank you. The names on their devices is a lot sometimes. But the Aqara G350 now supports Matter, and the comment there was referring to the smart home ecosystems that they're never on the same timeline, I guess is the best way to put it. And I think that only makes things more confusing. You know, you say you got a camera or any device that supports Matter. Well, that may not mean anything if the smart home ecosystem that you're using doesn't support it. So, do you think that's going to get better? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm wondering what the second platform is that might support it now.
Oh no, not platform. Sorry, cameras.
Two
Cameras.
cameras.
It's two
Okay.
cameras. Yeah, yeah. No, I
Uh,
think there's. I think that's correct. There's still just one, and it's Samsung Smart Things. I believe is the one that supports Matter 1.5, which includes cameras now. I don't
yeah.
think anyone else does yet.
Homie has said that they publicly that they will soon. So, um, yeah, I know.
Soon.
Um, um, but yeah, so I mean, I had to, I admit, I had to ask Aqara. I tried to connect it to Apple Home, and it was coming in as a hub the way that the camera usually does, and I
Mm-hmm.
expected it to come in as a camera. So I didn't do my research well enough,
Mm.
um, and I felt like um, it sucked for me, and it's going to suck for everyone that has only heard it's a Matter camera, and that's the end of, because that's where the marketing ends for the most part. There might be some fine print that says, none of them support it yet, for the most part. Um,
Yeah.
so being as like in tune and on top of things as I am, having a smart home channel, I think it's going to suck for everyone that buys this camera and expects it to be a Matter camera. I mean, well, actually work as a Matter camera.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of that frustration, I think, and I always try to think of it's easy to forget sometimes that not everybody understands like all because like we're really deep in the weeds with some of this stuff, and but it's so confusing now. I mean, I love what a car is doing. Just using them as an example in supporting Matter, that's fantastic. So it's ready when the smart home ecosystems will support it. And they're also doing things like multi-protocol devices that support like Thread and Zigbee. But I mean, unless you're a smart home nerd like us, people have no idea what that means. So it's like if you really want to set up a solid, reliable smart home, you almost like have to really dive deep into the weeds and like figure out some of this stuff. I guess. Would you agree? Do you think that's the case?
Yeah. Um, I it's yes. So first of all, I think it's awesome that Akara has those dual protocol devices, Zigbee and
Yeah.
Thread. That's awesome, and I'd love to see more of those.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know the tech side of it enough to understand why you can do more if like something is connected via Zigbee versus Thread or something like that. Um, but I did a Philips Hue video a little while ago and talked about that same thing because they did that with their new bulbs, and you can kind of tell like when something has when a video has kind of reached a broader audience, because some of the comments I got was, I'm more confused than ever, and it's I realize it's largely because in a lot of videos I'm talking, or I think I expect to be talking to the people that are on the same page as me, um, and so I did a follow up to that video because the part that people were having trouble with was the Zigbee part of it or the Thread part of it. And I almost wanted to say, literally from like a marketing aspect, it doesn't matter, like just follow the directions on setting it up, and it won't matter, because like when I first set up my Philips Hue lights on the bridge, I had no idea what Zigbee was, and I just kind of did it and got it working. And until I was troubleshooting something, that's when I really started figuring it out. And that was the same thing with Ring and Z-Wave too. I don't know. It didn't matter to me. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people can get through getting a smart home set up without necessarily understanding the protocol aspect of it.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good to know. That's encouraging to hear. Yeah, because that's what I worry about, I guess, because I do understand what some of this stuff means, and I'm like, people just they're not going to want to take the time to even try to figure out, what the difference is. They shouldn't have to.
They
I don't
shouldn't
think they
have to.
should.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a catch-22, I think, with a lot of these companies like Aqara, because I think they're in many ways appealing to the enthusiast community in a sense, but they're also great for beginners. But that's where it gets the lines get a little blurred when you can support all these different things. You're given the users like us who actually ask for that kind of stuff the ability to use Thread or Zigbee. That's fantastic. But then it's again, it's a catch-22. I think in many ways. So, do you have a preferred protocol that you're using in your house in terms of Thread or
Yeah. So
Zigbee?
it's Thread for me. I think, yeah, about half my house is Matter over Thread. Um, I have a couple HomeKit over Thread, but one thing that I noticed that was interesting is that I went to the Aqara app and saw that there was a few different Thread networks that were set up, and you can delete the ones you're not using. Not that I don't think it helps anything, except it just makes it a little bit more straightforward. Because I know that people were saying, oh, you might have 3 or 4 different Thread networks set up based on the border routers, but you can delete some of those extra ones because so many of the Aqara devices are border routers or hubs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm mostly using Thread. And I think not so many Zigbee, but if I do, I try to actually just set them up straight into Homey without going through. Those are Aqara devices too. Yeah, but then the only other one is the Philips Hue bridge. That one is still in my system. But yeah, some
I
Wi-Fi.
I got rid of I think I got rid of my Philips Hue bridge a while back because I only had like maybe 2 or 3 lights. And so I got rid of the bridge. It's like I've got too many bridges at this point. So I got rid of that. And I'm still using 1 or 2 Philips Hue lights that I just connected directly to either Home Assistant or Homey. I can't remember at this point. I got too much going on, but I do like using. It's hard to move away from Zigbee completely for me because stuff just works so well, and I do like using a bridge like the Aqara Zigbee bridges. It just all works so well, and I don't know. I've found more trouble with Thread than I have with just Zigbee stuff, and it's just really hard to diagnose a lot of times, which is what's been frustrating, I think, for me.
What is it that you, if, and we don't have to go down this if you don't want to, but I'm curious, what is it
No.
that you find happens a lot, or what issues do you find with Thread?
Well, I'm thinking that again, it's hard to diagnose, so I'm always kind of trying to figure out what the heck is going on in my house. But lately, I'm thinking that there is some sort of issue just on the Apple Home side. So I'll usually use Apple Home as like I guess the primary ecosystem that I connect a Matter device to, right? And then you can kind of share it to others. But I'll notice that like all of my Thread devices are having issues or whatever, and it's usually when my hardwired Apple TV is the primary hub, which on paper should be like the best route to go, right? As soon as I restart it, everything comes back online, and it's usually those Thread devices. So I don't know if it's something on the Apple Home side there that's the issue. But it's been a number of times where I'll notice I'm having issues with just Thread devices, and other devices are still working fine. So I don't know. I'm sure it's something that I'm doing wrong that I could probably fix. It's just hard to figure out sometimes.
Yeah. I was having I introduced Homey into my system a while ago. I don't know at this point, and everything was working like beautifully. Everything was working great between Apple Home and Homey, and then I got Eero. I got an Eero system, and I did a wireless backhaul between the two, and I put all of my hubs on the wireless node, and I didn't connect the two dots here, but everything started just going offline every other day. Basically, mostly my Thread devices were just going offline all the time. A lot of the times it was just in Homey that they were unresponsive, but they still worked in Apple Home, and it was because I had all the hubs on that wireless node. That was literally the reason. So I moved it. I moved everything to the wired one, and now everything is rock solid, as we say. But
That's
it can
interesting.
be it's like weird things like that. I'm not that tech savvy. I mean, I feel like I am tech savvy, but not that tech savvy. I just understand why that would have happened.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it can end up being things like that you just don't really think of.
And sometimes I wonder too if it's the issue of using too many different ecosystems, because I know Matter has definitely matured in the past few years, but at one point, sorry, my dogs are barking. At one point, if you had shared a Matter device to multiple ecosystems like Homey, Home Assistant, Google, whatever, Apple Home, at a certain point you would start to have issues if you shared it to too many ecosystems. So sometimes I wonder if that's it, because I do typically have most of my devices in at least two or more platforms or ecosystems now. So who knows?
I'm trying to keep down on it. Like sometimes I want like the notifications that I can get from Aqara, but it requires using not Aqara devices, like some other Matter devices, and I'm just like, do I
Oh
want to go
yeah,
down of,
yeah.
of using these devices in just to get this net? So I've been having to find like creative solutions to things just to not put devices in Aqara. So
Yeah, their whole platform and ecosystem is pretty impressive. They've been doing a lot with it. It is tempting to the notifications and just the automation capabilities and stuff in there. It has been tempting not to use it as, I guess, a Matter controller sometimes.
yeah, I get lost in that app because it's like a dual kind of situation. It's the manufacturer's app for the devices, and then it is also the home hub essentially. Um, so like sometimes I get confused as to like do I need to go into this app to change these settings because it's the home hub, or because it's the manufacturer's app for the device I'm using. So I get
Hmm.
lost in that app very easily.
Yeah, yeah. I've kind of resisted. I as far as bringing like third party devices into the Aqara app. I really just use it to control and all my Aqara devices. Like I said, I still like to use their Zigbee devices with an Aqara hub, so I use it for that. Let's see. Let's check out some of the comments real quick. Zeus Sidai says, another one of my favorite creators in the stream. Awesome, man. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us. Hair Riot says, I feel you. I have the same issues with Thread devices in the Apple TV as a hub. So yeah, okay. Maybe it's not me. And I remember, or not just me. I remember at one point somebody saying that the hardwired Apple TV was causing Thread issues, and I thought that had been fixed because I did experience that at one point. But I don't know. It's still something that gets me sometimes, I think. But I've been trying to nail it down. I've also been using Homey quite a bit lately. Let's see. Brian says, oh, good question here from Brian for you, Patrick. Did you have any previous video creation experience? I guess before doing YouTube.
Yes. So video is kind of my creative outlet, but I studied film and video in college, and so I've been doing it as a career for the past 15 years. Man, it's a long time.
It shows. I will say that it does show. I not 100% sure when I first came across your channel, but it was obviously you were very new. You've only been doing it on YouTube for about a year, so it had to be pretty early on. And I remember thinking that this guy's gonna do good stuff on YouTube as long as he sticks with it, because your videos are shot very well. They're way better than my early videos by a million. So
Thanks,
that's
man.
awesome. Keep it up.
I watched your videos as inspiration early on, so
Like, oh, I can at least do better than this guy.
this guy, wow. No, actually,
Yeah.
I told George this a while ago. Maybe it was Eric. Maybe I told both of them, but just for fun, in my first few videos, I went back to all the creators that I was watching, and I watched their first video just to
Ooh.
see.
Ooh.
um, and I don't, it's interesting to see how everyone changed over the years. Like what the channel started as. Maybe it wasn't necessarily smart home, but
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to see kind of how things evolve over time, and it's definitely an interesting thing. I encourage everyone to do that. With Shane's channel specifically, go watch
Oh
Shane's
God,
very first video.
don't tell people to do that. Oh man, I'm gonna get you for that one. Dylan, speaking of great content, Dylan, waiting on Dylan to. I think it's been a while since Dylan made any videos, but really great production on his stuff as well. So check out Dylan's channel. He said consistency, sticking with it is the key. Yeah, I think if you go back far enough on my channel, just don't, just don't listen. Yeah, I did some vlogs. I was all over the place at first, but I was just having fun. I was just making videos, and I thought at one point, like, should I just take down all the crappy stuff that is embarrassing? And at some point, I just said, you know what? Screw it. I'll just leave it on there. I mean, if nothing else, like you were able to go and look at that and be like, well, I mean, he used to suck, so I'm at least hopefully a little bit better than I was back then. So, maybe that's an inspiration for other people. And I have had one or two people say that they kind of appreciated me leaving all that stuff up there. So you can definitely go look at it if you want to.
For
It
the
is up
record,
there.
I don't think that it sucked. I don't think that at all.
Well, that's very
Uh,
kind of you, but I'm not sure I believe you. Let's see. Frederick says celebrating 45 months of membership with his membership chat there. Thank you, Frederick, for all the support. Shane's first videos were vlogs of his vacations. Yeah, I definitely have some of those up there for sure. And I know Frederick's been watching for a long time, so I appreciate that. Yeah, I was kind of mixing in a few different things, just kind of having fun with it back in the day. And at some point, I was like, I should probably just stick with something, you know? And it was right around the time I was starting to build my own smart home. I was just getting into it myself, far from an expert. I just, again, I didn't see a whole lot of Apple Home related content on YouTube. So that's what I was trying to do. So I was like, I'll just document this and see where it goes. And here we are. So you never know. Let's see. Greg says leaving the original videos up and help other new creators start their own journey. Yeah, that's hopefully it's some inspiration because it is embarrassing sometimes. So hopefully some good comes out of that.
I think the weekly video kind of goal is, I don't know. I think that's what makes it difficult, and why you might have some videos that you want to take. I don't know. And there's a lot of different pieces to it, like the thumbnail and the title. And I'm glad that those things can be updated. I'm glad that those things can be updated because, um, you know, uh, someone might be going through your videos and then they start seeing things like degrading in quality just from
Mm.
looking at the thumbnail, and you're like, oh, do I want to watch this one? This may have been an
Well, I
early video.
guarantee you'll probably see that with mine. I don't think I've gone back and changed thumbnails or titles or anything like that. I don't know, maybe that would be smart to do, but it is what it is, man. I like looking forward,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
not
exactly.
behind.
Leave it in the past.
That's right. Yes, Simple PC says, "Never regret things you've done. Regrets the things you haven't done, and remember, every new video gets better." That's it. That was a great comment. I appreciate that. That was part of my goal in those early days, was just to keep going. And plus, you're doing like way better than I was when I started. But when I first started, it's like nobody's watching these videos anyways. I'm just gonna keep posting them, and they'll get better. I just try to learn a little something with each one, and that was kind of my goal um, back then.
I do remember one of the first videos that got views. I actually like my stomach. What's the phrase? My stomach kind of sank because I was like, oh no, like people are actually watching this one. And I had to go back and like look at it and be like, and feel okay about it later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt the same way you did. Couple of my first videos, I don't know. It was experimenting and sometimes I try to joke in my videos, and I've sometimes they just don't land, or I'm the only one that thinks it's funny, and it's like, so if a video starts getting a lot of views, I have to go back and look and be like, okay, these things are, I'm fine with this.
Yeah, you have to be fine with it. I mean, it's all about learning and improving. If you're looking back at stuff you did before and it doesn't suck, or it's not any better now than it used to be, then something's probably wrong. It should be getting better. Your old stuff should be worse than the stuff you're doing nowadays, in my opinion. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. Let's see, we got a couple questions here. I'm going to ask, if you don't mind, Patrick. The official Baba trolling says, a question for you, Patrick. What do you want to see Matter improve on?
Oh, um, good, good question. And I know we talked about it a little bit. It's so what I want to see Matter improve on is kind of the education around it. And so what I was saying earlier was kind of, I understand that a lot of these things need to be explained for the people that want to understand it better, but there needs to be a new, different level of the marketing of Matter that maybe doesn't get too into the nitty gritty, because I think a lot of this stuff will work. I think a lot of this stuff will work if the education around it is a little different. Um, and I'm strategically, I don't know exactly what that looks like yet. I think it does have to be just an effort by everybody, like the brands, and kind of everyone involved in Matter. But I think that's its biggest problem right now is the education around it.
Yeah. I think one big step could be, uh, and again, like you, I'm not sure how to make this happen, but if we could find a way, and I think they maybe tried this, or maybe this is a goal, but if they could find a way to get all of these platforms, at least all the major ecosystems that people are using, Apple Home, Google Home, Amazon, all those, if they could find a way to get those to at least support the same version of Matter, that would be one big step, I think, to just to making things a little bit easier. For example, if everybody supported Matter 1.5 right now, then you could buy that Matter camera and you can connect it to your smart home ecosystem. That's not the case. It works in Samsung smart things, but nobody else. Apple Home is probably going to be 2027 or later before that happens. And I don't know how they can solve that, but that would probably help some.
It would probably take everybody moving as slow as Apple, or Apple moving as fast as everyone else, which isn't likely to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes everyone moving at the same pace, and I think that's the issue.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's the other parts too that are problematic. Like you can support certain things within Matter, but not like all things. Like I think if somebody correct me if I'm wrong here in the chat, but I don't think you can still add buttons, Matter buttons to Google Home in 2026. Last I checked, maybe they've updated that, but it has taken forever. Like
I don't
that's
use
crazy, you know?
I don't use Google Home, but that's such a weird thing to leave out. It
Yeah.
seems too simple.
Yeah, I know for a long time. I think I mentioned it to to one of the Google folks that was at CES. I don't know. I probably had a couple of drinks and was like, "You guys still don't support buttons. What's up with that?" It seems like it would be an easy one, but anyways, moving on. We're gonna get to some of these chat questions here, man. If you're cool with that, I had some stuff I wanted to ask you, but we got some good questions here in the
Yeah,
chat, so we'll roll with this if that's cool with you.
absolutely.
Jeff says, Patrick, what smart home YouTubers are your biggest influence?
Don't make me talk about Shane again. Uh, I watched Shane and Eric Wheelander. So they and like not on purpose, and not no, I didn't subscribe to these gentlemen. I am now. I'm a subscriber now, but
Thanks.
YouTube did a very good job of feeding me their content constantly on my home screen, so I couldn't avoid them at a certain point. Uh, but
All that means is that you're really into smart home tech because YouTube knows what you want to see.
yeah, exactly. And the packaging of these video, whatever the title and the was, just it appealed to me every single time, and I just kept watching the videos, and so yeah, so the two of them were my greatest influence, and
Awesome.
yeah, I definitely
Well,
take some pages out of your book.
well, I appreciate that, and I'm glad it helped. And also Eric Wheelander, great guy. Y'all can go check out Eric's channel if you have not already. Let's see. We asked that. What other questions we have? Edward says, "What advice would you give to new creators?"
Yeah. The So I shot everything on my iPhone for the first I don't know, 6 or 7 months or something like that. Um, so I would say you don't need to spend a whole lot of money up front. If there was one thing I would spend money on, it's good audio. So to have a microphone, because I think people turn videos off pretty quickly if they don't sound good. They can look okay, but if they sound bad, then people turn it off. And then the other thing just being, if I didn't post weekly, I don't think that basically a lot of the motivation has to come from inside first, until it kind of shifts to, you start seeing some traction with videos, and good response to videos. So I would just say allow that to happen before you get discouraged. But posting weekly was a really important thing, I think.
Yep. Good advice. I second all that. Cody says, question for Patrick, what smart device that hasn't been made yet you would like to see made?
Oh, so the one that I had been wanting for so long, very specifically in this way, got made. So, um, and it's Lutron, but it was the Venetian blinds, like smart Venetian
Mm.
blinds, because I had the SwitchBot blind tilts for a while, and while they're great, I wanted something that wasn't retrofit. I wanted something that was just built right in, and
Mm-hmm.
Lutron showed them at CES, and they're exactly what I ever hoped for. And that was the one thing that I was like, this is missing. Um, the other thing is slowly being kind of solved, I think, with something like Homey, where there are so many cool devices.
I think we might have lost your audio.
App. Oh God.
Okay, I think you're back. We're getting an echo now, though.
I'm noticing it lags. So yeah. All right, hold on.
Yeah, Lutron's new Caseta smart blinds are much more affordable too than some. Well, I mean they're still pricey, but more affordable than I think they had some for the in the Serena line, but they were crazy expensive. So
Is that better?
yeah, let's see. Can we hear my echo? Yeah, that's better. No echo.
Okay, good. I'm noticing a lag, so I don't know if it's my internet or not, but hopefully
Okay,
not.
seems good on my end. I can see you and hear you. I still hear a little echo for some reason. Do you have a YouTube?
Weird. It's all the way.
All right. How we doing on the audio? Can y'all let us know? We had so many hiccups last few streams. We were doing so well. Yeah, I think the YouTube, we were having some issues with YouTube last time, but I think we're okay. Let us know. Got a little echo. Do you have the stream playing somewhere else on your? Is it playing through your computer, Patrick?
No.
Okay, that's kind of weird because I just hear the echo on me.
Oh God.
That's all right. Low volume echo. I don't know.
I
Hopefully
think
it's not too bad.
I think it's a connection thing. I think because I'm noticing a pretty significant lag now.
Okay. Can you carry on? You think a little bit, or is the lag too bad?
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. It's a few seconds though.
Okay. Yes. Raul says, speaking of audio, that's the thing with these live streams. That you never know what can happen, but that's part of the fun in it. Let's see. Another question here. Edgar says, "Is there a category that you wish was a part of Matter right now for your smart home use?"
That's a good question. I'm gonna let Shane answer that one first.
All right. I would say, let's see. I'm going to try. Let me see here. I'm going to see if I mute you for a second. I'm going to see if that echo goes away. We'll see. I part of Matter. I cameras is really what I'm most excited about, and that now is a part of Matter. So I don't really know what I would want to see next. That's a big one. I personally think that camera supporting Matter could really be what's gonna take just Matter as a standard or whatever, and maybe the education and everything we were talking about to your everyday person. I think cameras could be what takes Matter to the next level once it's widely adopted in all the smart home ecosystems and there's more cameras and stuff like that. So I'm just really excited about that. That maybe doesn't answer the question, but we are looking at more cameras that should be coming out this year. We should be seeing a lot of this. I think Aqara just released theirs. I just heard from It's the X Things Ulticam. That one, I'm not sure if they've launched that yet, but it has officially received Matter certification. I think that's the first outdoor camera that has received the Matter 1.5 certification. So we're just going to be seeing more of that, and I'm really excited to see what that looks like once all the ecosystems support Matter 1.5 and cameras. I think it could really open up the doors to a lot more smaller brands, maybe brands that we wouldn't have necessarily looked at too much in the past, to support Matter and work with our smart homes, and maybe leads to more affordable products too moving forward. Here, let me unmute you. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Someone in the chat said Matter speakers, Ben, and that I fully agree with. After cameras, speakers would be great. And if somehow there's like full functionality of like, the controls, but also, whatever you're streaming through, if we were able to get all of those controls in the Matter controller, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then I'm gonna second Hair Riot's comment here. Lawnmowers, yes, that would be awesome, because I don't think we'll ever see a lawnmower working within Apple Home otherwise. So maybe one day Matter will support lawnmowers. That would be fantastic. I would think it can't be much different than robot vacuums. I don't know.
Yeah, lawnmowers would be great too. Lawnmowers would be great too. And it's the other thing, when something isn't Matter compatible, I always look for it in, not Home Assistant, and Homey, and
Yeah.
Homey, and and wherever I can, just to see. And there usually isn't, or at least with lawnmowers, there really hasn't been any option. So there's got to be some way to start integrating lawnmowers sooner rather than later, even if it's not Matter.
Yeah, you probably can, using something like Home Assistant or whatever, depending on the brand. I'm not really sure. It's one of those things. I've only used a few robot mowers. Hopefully, I do plan on using some different ones this year. So I'll definitely be looking around to see if I can integrate them into Home Assistant at least, or Homey, and then maybe can get them into Apple Home somehow. Well, it is the top of the hour. Juan said we'll highlight this comment here as we wrap this thing up. So this community is the best. I love following all the content creators here. You all showcase your unique perspectives on home automation and the technology behind it. Very cool. Thank you so much for that comment, Juan. And I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Thank you, Patrick, so much for taking time out of your busy day and joining us here. It's always a lot of fun. Great to catch up outside of the madness of Las Vegas and whatever. So
thank you so much for having me, man. I love doing this. So I would, whenever you need someone on a random week to chat with on your live, please don't hesitate to ask.
Absolutely, man, for sure. We'll definitely get you back. And for everybody who tuned in live, thanks so much for being here. Hopefully we got to your questions. We got to as many as we could. I am going to start doing these live streams once every month. So my plan right now is to do the end of every month. We'll have a new guest on. Maybe we'll do more than that moving forward. We'll kind of see how it goes. So with that said, thank you all for tuning in today. And also, there's a lot of Amazon Spring sales. There's a full list down in the video description. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Patrick's channel if you have not already. There's a link also to that down below in the video description. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks again, Patrick, for being here. God bless.
Thank you.